Welcome, Sagittarius, to your September monthly Power Path Tarot reading, a monthly tarot and astrology series created to help you unlock clarity, trust your intuition, and take aligned action. I'm Heather Ellis, and in these monthly readings, we explore four key dimensions: career and wealth, shadow work, past life insight, and action strategy to help you stay grounded, empowered, and on your soul path. I created this series to help you build self-trust and navigate life shifts with purpose. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, and whether you are here for the first time or are a long-time subscriber, welcome to the Dog Star Astrology and Tarot Pack. First up is a quick review of the astrology, and then we will dive into the cards. You can use the timestamps below to move around the video. Now let's explore what the universe has in store for you this month. Sagittarius, there is some excitement happening in the sky for the month of September as we are entering eclipse season. I will be focusing on the eclipses and how and where they are impacting you based on your rising sign, as that provides more precision on the house that will be lit up in your natal chart. If you know your birth time, you can get a free natal chart using the link in the description below. And if you don't know your birth time, you can look at how the eclipses will impact you through the lens of your sun sign. It is good to look at the big three if you know them. So that is your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. Your moon sign shows your emotional landscape and home life. Your sun sign is your vitality, ego, what you want to be known for, your career, and your rising sign can be anything about you as it represents the self. Sagittarius, the eclipse energy can manifest and play out for 6 months to up to a year after the eclipse, so don't expect big changes on the exact day of the eclipse. There are 2 eclipses in September, a full lunar eclipse on September 7th and a partial solar eclipse on September 21st. September 7th, there is a total lunar eclipse on top of the North Node in the sign of Pisces. For Sag rising, this indicates intensity around a completion, fulfillment, revelation, or change about yourself, your body, your health. Again, this can take up to 6 months to completely unfold. And for Sag Sun, it is about career. So you are going to end, complete, change, or shift your career path. And for Sag Moon, it is about your home life and major changes coming through there. So perhaps you could be moving or making changes in the home. For Sag rising, this is your 4th, 10th house axis of home and career. This indicates changes in your home, family legacy, revealing something about your childhood story. On the upside, it does look like any changes occurring are likely to be positive, as Jupiter is in a positive aspect to the eclipse, bringing luck, opportunity, prosperity, and abundance. September 21st, there is a partial solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo in your 10th house. This solar eclipse new moon represents new beginnings and change, but because of the eclipse, it is a destined new beginning and change in your career and reputation. So with the South Node here, this indicates that the new beginning comes with a destined ending or releasing and letting go. This can play out where maybe you release one job or role for another, but it is positively supported and therefore looks like a glow-up opportunity that requires you to release something. So that is what I have for you, Sag. Now let's dive into the cards. Sagittarius, the first cards I'm going to be pulling are for your career and wealth. So if you aren't working, if you are, for example, retired, or you are a homemaker, this still applies to you, but it's more about your reputation, the things that you're doing out in the community or out in the world, the things that you are known for. And then also still about your finances and your wealth. Also stay to the very end, because I will be pulling some oracle cards, and I will be pulling an angel number card and wrapping it up with an animal speak rune. Okay, so this card represents your energy, Sagittarius. I'm just looking in the camera up top to make sure that the card is in the camera. This is week 1 in your career and wealth. This is week 2 of September in your career and wealth. This is week 3, and this is week 4. And then over here, this is your shadow block. Okay, so this is what is holding you back, what you need to look at this week, or this month, work on this month and release and let go of. This is your past life insights. So your karmic gifts, what you were born with, your skills, a special skill or talent that you were born with in this lifetime. And then we wrap up with your, this is your action strategy for the month. I'm going to pull one more card for the shadow work. This is a shadow work oracle card, just as an extra layer or clarifier on your shadow block. Okay, and there we go. Okay. Okay. So Sagittarius, your overall energy for the month of September is the Knight of Swords. So this is telling me that you are in a process of one of two things. You're taking action for sure this month. There's a lot of action, a lot of forward movement, a lot of activity. You're on a quest, you're on a mission, you have goals, you have set goals for yourself and you are going after them. But with it being Knight of Swords, it could be one of two things where you have made plans, an action plan, an action strategy, and you're moving forward with that, seeking clarity, seeking your personal truth. Or for others of you, it can also be a time of learning. So you could even have already taken on a new role at work, or you could be looking to upgrade your skills so you can either transition into a higher position like a promotion or go after something when it appears or when it's available to you, or you could be just using that as leverage for jumping into a different career path as well. So that's how I see the Knight of Swords playing out for you in the month of September. But you are very busy. There's a lot of action going on and you're being very proactive in your career and wealth. For those of you where there's no movement in your career, this can also be about your investments, where you're taking action, you're looking at your investments, thinking about long-term goals, right? For retirement down the road or investment planning, and maybe you're thinking about playing the stocks. So it can play out that way as well, or just other income streams as well. Now, with the Fool in your first week, I like this here. This does tell me there's some kind of new beginning, new opportunity for you going on. So some of this could be that initiation of learning, if you are learning, and that's what that Knight of Swords represents. But others of you, this is that new opportunity that you are like seizing with that Knight of Swords, where you're strategizing and you're taking action and you're going after something. But that opportunity is really presenting itself. That new beginning is initiating and starting in that first week of September. And then we move into the second week of September, and there is a little bit of a pause there for you because you have the Eight of Swords. So this is a card of imprisonment, of feeling stuck, right? But the one thing with the Eight of Swords, it's all in the mind, okay? So it's your mental thoughts. It's like it's your own thoughts that imprison you and keep you from moving forward because you're not seeing a situation clearly, because you're too stuck in your head, your thoughts are spinning, or you just cannot see it clearly. Again, go back to the Knight of Swords energy, because this is seeking that truth, seeking that clarity. So I do feel like you will overcome that. It is going to be short-lived, because once we get into week 3, you have the King of Wands, and then you finish up in week 4 with the Queen of Wands. So very interesting energy here in that second half of September, because this is telling me that whatever it is that you are overcoming, whatever you're stuck with, you are going to work through it. You are going to see clearly. And what I think you're being stuck with that Eight of Swords here is this. It's about your passions, your creativity, your sense of purpose, their inspired action, right? I feel like you might be feeling a little bit of a disconnect in week 2, where it's like there's some confusion on what you want to do, because you want to make sure that what you're doing feels like it's aligned with who you authentically are, with your life path, your life purpose, and you want to do something where you can be creative and express that side of yourself and really be passionate and inspired by what it is that you do in your career and wealth area of your life. Now, and this is why I'm saying you are going to see that clearly with that Knight of Swords energy that you have. You're going to be able to see clearly what it is that you want and make that decision, make that choice on how you're going to, what it is you're going to do. Because with the King of Wands, this is the king. You have the king and queen. So kings and queens, they sit in the power. They sit in their power. They have mastered the energy of their suit. And this suit is wands. So this is fire, right? This, and you know, you're Sagittarius, you are a fire sign, you know all about this, right? So this is that optimism, that this is that hope, that's inspiration. This is, you know, seeing abundance everywhere, that creative expression, being passionate about what it is that you're doing, being, you know, looking for adventure. And that is what you have in the last 2 weeks of the month. So, but you have the king and the queen, and the king is more the authority, the authoritarian, the rules, the structure. And then the queen is more the nurturing and that create more creative energy, that more abundance and growth, right? So in week 3, it's like once you have that clarity, you are looking to create, and you're putting structure to that. And this is in your career and wealth sector of your life. So I'm loving this energy. This is really being connected to what it is that you do. So even if you don't have that at work, then this could be a passion project that you're doing. For some of you, this could even be deciding that, you know, you're renovating your house, because your house is a possession. It is property. It has wealth. It gives you wealth, right? So maybe one of your a passion project of yours is like redoing your kitchen. Who knows, right? But it would add value to your property. So, and that's how you can increase your wealth. But this is inspired action, and you're building that structure. And then by the final week, you're really growing that with the queen energy, because the queen is that nurturing and that abundance. It is that growth, right? Like you think of the queen, the female, the womb, where things can be nurtured and grow and turn into something abundant. So that's what you have in the second half, or in the last half of the month. And so I really like this for you, Sagittarius. This is very positive energy. So run with it. And now we're going to look at your shadow block. And what you have here is the Ten of Swords. And it says, your shadow work oracle card says divine juggling. And it says, master different aspects of yourself, both the light and the dark. Right? So it's part of it is accepting the dark side as well as the light side. So not just stuffing in the things where, you know, just because it's we see it as a negative emotion, like whatever it could be, it doesn't mean that you have to bury it and stuff it and ignore it. It just means that you have to know you can still use certain emotions that we consider negative to your advantage, right? Like things like greed or jealousy, as long as you're using them in a productive way, not to harm other people, but as maybe even as something to keep you from procrastinating, right? And sitting and doing nothing, but you're using it to create inspired action, then that can be positive, right? It's not letting it control you, but knowing how to use it to your benefit. And that's where you want to use that, both that light and the dark of yourself. But with the Ten of Swords also here, as a shadow work, this is telling me that things have been difficult. I feel like and I feel like part of the difficulty is that I think you've had just a lot on your plate. You've been doing a lot and things have been just difficult and challenging. It feels like nothing has been moving forward. But part of that not moving forward is because I believe that you've been that divine juggling, right? Where you've been trying to do things or do maybe even some inner work where, you know, sometimes when people do inner work, they end up trying to focus on, oh, everything's all great, everything's all great, everything's all great. Again and again, they're completely ignoring the dark side of themselves. And that's an illusion, right? You cannot just focus on the positive, and just think that everything is all hunky-dory and that's it. And you know, you still have to face the shadow side of yourself. You still have to look at that. And I feel like, you know, just things in your life perhaps have happened that have caused you pain. So instead you've stuffed it down and you've ignored it and you haven't faced it. And now it's time to face it. It's time to bring it to light and then to either release it or integrate it into your life, and or at least integrate the parts that are going to be helpful, and then release and let go of the parts that won't. And that's where that painful ending with that Ten of Swords comes into play as your shadow work. Now we're going to move into your past life insights. So this is your karmic gifts, what you were born into this world with. And no surprise here to me anyway that you have the Ace of Pentacles. So aces are always brand new opportunities and beginnings that come in for us. But as a gift, a special talent or gift that you have, this is, and being earth energy, stable and grounding, and creating security. This to me is your natural gift and ability is optimism, right? This ability to always see the cup as half full, and having this wanting to expand, because again, an ace represents that seed, that very new beginning that you plant, nurture, and then it grows into that 10. So you have this natural skill and ability to see the positives and see the potentials of what something can become or a situation can become. So this month, use that to your advantage. And I really do think you will be with that King of Wands and that Queen of Wands at the end of the month here. And then your action strategy is the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, when I see this as an action strategy and you have that Eight of Swords there and that Knight of Swords, sorry, as your energy for the month, this is that being able to see the truth and cut through the truth. And that really is your action plan. When you see the Two of Swords, this is needing to compromise or make a decision. And with the swords, you see, the swords are coming down into the moon. That represents our intuition, our emotions. The swords are our logic and reason, and they're crossed over. You can't see the logic and reason. It's kind of muddied with the emotions. The emotions are getting in the way. And then she's also blindfolded. She can't see things clearly. But your action plan is to really try and look at use logic and reason, because you do have the Knight of Swords here. Use logic and reason to kind of cut through the mental red tape this month, and to see things clearly. Use your sword of truth to find what it is that you are aligned with emotionally and inspired by, how you can use your creative talents and abilities and passions to get what you want this month and move you in a direction that's on your path and in line with your purpose. So that is what I have for you for that. Now I'm going to pull an abundance attractor card for you, Sagittarius. And we have, when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. Yeah, and I really feel like that is your gift, really, is that ability to see the positives, to see the potentials, and be optimistic. Okay, so the next one is a Magic of You Oracle card. And Sagittarius, you have translucence. So love the darkness. And again, I really feel like that is part of that divine juggling the light and the dark, right? It's embracing the dark side of yourself instead of trying to pretend it doesn't exist. And now is your angel number. And you have 1331. And the key word for this is change. And other keywords are encouragement, support, obstacle, battle, calling, restructuring, and creative work. And it says the message is you are going to level up. It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in your life for your highest good. That is the why you've been looking for. Push through it. There's a reward waiting at the finish line. I really like that message for you, and I do feel like that with that leveling up and where it says it might not feel good initially, that Fool is that leveling up, right? And that Eight of Wands is that uncomfortable feeling, and that could also be creating that moment of like, I'm not sure what to do, right? And having that feeling. So, so finally, we're gonna pull an animal speak rune, and you have. Oh, you have the dolphin, which is new hope. Okay, I'm gonna just hold that up like that. And then, I'm going to get my glasses on so I can read it because I want to make sure that I give you all the messages here. And so I'm using the Animal Speak Runes by Ted Andrews. And the dolphin represents its new hope but new promise. So, three of the most ancient and powerful creative forces have always been water, sound, and breath. In the dolphin, all three of these creative powers come together. When dolphin shows up, there will always be a dynamic increase in fertility and creativity within your life. This is a time of new promise. Dolphins are powerful communicators. Sound requires breath, and if you know how to combine sounds in words, prayers, chants, songs, etc., with breath, you can reshape the waters of your life. This is what Dolphin teaches. Now is the time to pursue these methods in a new way to achieve what you desire. Experiment with techniques of sound and breath to call forth from the waters what you most need or desire now. The sea of life is pregnant with possibilities. Dolphin reminds you to focus on those possibilities and create your own ability to be creative. This fertile time promises new growth and the fulfillment of your needs. I really like those messages for you, Sagittarius. So I hope you enjoyed this month's reading. I hope you got a lot out of it. Please comment below. Let me know how things are going, especially this week too. I'd like to know what it is that you're stuck with in that week too. How are you feeling trapped in your mind? And yeah, be sure to like, share, subscribe, click on that notification bell so you're notified when the October readings come out. And also when my weekly energy check-ins come in. I do post weekly videos as well, little weekly updates. They're very short, but make sure you're subscribed so you know when those come out as well. So have a fantastic month, Sagittarius, and take care.